So you're not supposed to, you heard Jim?
Huh?
You cut the lights off.
The situation quickly exploded online after surveillance cameras captured Jim Jones forcefully kicking in a locked studio door in a Bronx building, turning what might have been a private dispute into a public spectacle that spread across social media within hours. The footage, which was later shared by 50 Cent, showed the rapper repeatedly striking the door with his foot and shoulder in a narrow hallway, his persistence eventually causing the door to give way. According to the timeline posted online, the incident occurred on February 19, 2026, but it wasn't until the following day that the video surfaced publicly, instantly igniting debate among fans, commentators, and hip-hop observers who began speculating about the motive behind the confrontation. Alongside the video, 50 Cent uploaded what he claimed was a lease termination notice connected to the property, asserting that ownership or control of the space had shifted, a claim that only intensified curiosity and confusion surrounding the event. Social media quickly transformed the situation into a trending topic, with viewers analyzing every frame of the clip, debating whether the act was fueled by frustration, business conflict, or personal tension rooted in a deeper disagreement. The building itself became part of the narrative, symbolizing more than just a physical location but also a battleground of reputation, influence, and public perception in an industry where image often shapes reality as much as facts do. What truly surprised audiences, however, was not the footage alone but the response that followed, as Jim Jones addressed the situation in a manner that diverged sharply from the dramatic tone of the video, shifting the conversation from raw confrontation to interpretation, narrative control, and the power of public storytelling. Instead of allowing the circulating images to define him, he approached the moment as part of a larger narrative, prompting supporters and critics alike to reconsider what they had witnessed and question whether the viral clip revealed the full context or merely a fragment designed to provoke reaction. Meanwhile, the rapid sharing of the video illustrated how quickly private moments can transform into public controversies, especially when influential figures participate in amplifying them, and how digital platforms can blur the line between documentation and performance. Observers pointed out that the event reflected broader themes within entertainment culture, including rivalry, branding, and the strategic use of controversy to command attention in an oversaturated media environment. Others focused on the legal and practical implications, wondering about property rights, tenancy disputes, and whether the dramatic entry into the studio represented an impulsive act or a calculated move within an ongoing disagreement. As conversations continued to evolve, the incident demonstrated how a single moment captured on camera could generate layers of narrative, speculation, and interpretation far beyond the physical act itself, turning a brief hallway confrontation into a widely discussed episode that blended real-world conflict with the performative energy of modern celebrity culture.
You cut the lights off. You're not supposed to, you heard Jim?
Huh?
You cut the lights off.
The conflict between 50 Cent and Jim Jones escalated into a full-blown public spectacle after surveillance footage from a Bronx studio complex known as the IFC Factory surfaced online, showing Jones forcefully kicking in a locked door inside the building that served as the operational hub for the podcast Let's Rap About It, a show co-hosted by Jones alongside Fabulous, Dave East, and their collaborator Mayo, transforming what might have remained a private property dispute into a widely consumed narrative about rivalry, leverage, and image control in modern hip-hop culture. The footage, timestamped February 19, 2026, was uploaded the following day by 50 Cent along with a lease termination notice addressed to Joseph Jones, indicating that the tenancy had allegedly been canceled weeks earlier following a default notice dated early January. A detail that reframed the visual not as a spontaneous act of frustration, but as part of a longer-running dispute involving rent obligations, building access, and control over a space that functioned as a production base rather than a simple rental studio. The IFC Factory represented more than a location for recording episodes. It symbolized infrastructure, identity, and independence for the show's creators, making the optics of the incident particularly powerful because they suggested not just conflict but displacement. The situation had roots stretching back to late 2025, when the podcast publicly criticized a documentary project produced by 50 Cent for Netflix, labeling it a mockumentary, a term implying performance disguised as truth rather than straightforward criticism, and that single remark ignited a response pattern consistent with 50 Cent's long-observed approach to disputes. Strategic exposure combined with business framing. Instead of answering with music or interviews, he posted alleged financial details, shared audio recordings discussing rent arrears, and amplified commentary from Cameron, constructing a narrative in which credibility, accountability, and financial stability became central themes. By February 20th, when the surveillance clips appeared online, the story had already been shaped for months through incremental posts that suggested the podcast crew was struggling with obligations tied to the very space from which they broadcast commentary about others. The addition of a photo showing 50 Cent standing with the building's owner, accompanied by a claim of partnership or ownership interest, shifted the storyline from rivalry to structural power, implying that the dispute had moved from commentary to control. And this transformation captured public attention not only because of the personalities involved, but because it blended entertainment drama with tangible assets like property, contracts, and deadlines. Media coverage, reaction channels, and repost accounts circulated the footage widely, creating a feedback loop in which every new detail reinforced the narrative arc already established. Criticism led to scrutiny. Scrutiny led to exposure, and exposure culminated in a moment caught on camera that seemed to confirm the broader story being told. Rather than deny the incident or engage in direct confrontation, Jim Jones responded by reframing the moment through performance and humor, posting a video of himself dressed in the same clothing scene in the surveillance footage while theatrically performing martial art-style movements in front of a large screen playing the 1985 film The Last Dragon, a cultural reference that resonated strongly within hip-hop communities and instantly transformed the narrative from embarrassment into persona, giving rise to the nickname Kung Fu Jim that spread across social media platforms within hours and shifted the tone of public reaction from condemnation to amusement. By leaning into spectacle rather than resisting it, Jones redirected attention away from legal and financial implications toward branding, suggesting that visibility itself could be leveraged regardless of context, and he reinforced that framing through follow-up posts, implying that the attention generated by 50 Cent's uploads functioned as free promotion rather than reputational damage. This strategy produced a stark contrast in presentation. One figure emphasized documentation, deadlines, and property authority, while the other emphasized charisma, humor, and adaptability, creating two parallel narratives competing for dominance in the public imagination. Beneath the memes and commentary, however, remained unresolved questions about tenancy rights, eviction procedures, and operational continuity for the podcast's production base, particularly given the economic realities of maintaining a multi-host studio in New York City, where commercial real estate costs impose substantial pressure on independent media ventures. Public discussion expanded beyond personalities to include broader themes, such as how digital exposure can influence real-world disputes, how business leverage intersects with artistic rivalry, and how reputation can be negotiated through performance rather than argument. Coverage by culture outlets and repost networks, including The Shade Room and XXL, amplified both interpretations simultaneously, ensuring that the incident functioned not as a single narrative, but as a layered spectacle in which legal uncertainty, strategic communication, and audience perception interacted continuously. By the end of February 2026, no publicly confirmed court proceedings or finalized property transfers had fully resolved the dispute, leaving the situation suspended between documentation and interpretation, evidence and performance, authority and response. What remained undeniable was the transformation of a physical act captured on security cameras into a widely consumed cultural moment shaped as much by presentation as by fact, illustrating how modern celebrity conflict operates not only through events themselves, but through the stories constructed around them, stories that persist long after the original footage stops playing.